Hi, welcome to The Art of Yoga with Kat Justice, and this video is all about things that we can do to help bolster our immune system through yoga. So it's a particular concern for a lot of people with the coronavirus pandemic right now, of how we can strengthen our immune system. And I looked into some research around the work that's been done so far around how yoga helps our immune system. And most of that research points to the vagus nerve. So working on our parasympathetic nervous system, which is our rest and digest response in the body. And when we get out of that state of fight or flight and we get into rest and digest, we get better immune function. So that's the sort of theoretical framework behind the work that we're going to be doing today. And what that means is that whatever form of yoga is most relaxing to you, that's the kind you should be practicing for your immune system. So I'm going to offer up one practice today that's going to focus on some active practices. We're going to get our body moving, and we're going to particularly open up the pathway of that vagus nerve that goes from our brainstem kind of down through the throat, the front of the body, and then it sort of winds its way through the heart and the lungs and the belly, and so it'll be a lot of heart opening practices. We're also going to do a lot of forward folds, which tend to just sort of calm our nervous system in general too. And we're going to have this sort of more active practice at the beginning and then a more restorative practice at the end. But if you're the type of person that's like, no, I need 100% restorative practice to calm my nervous system, do my restorative video. So I've got one up on my page, and that might be a better fit for your immune system. Or if you're like, I just need to move, like that's the thing that helps my body relax more than anything else, then find one of my more active practices, like the heart opening class that I've got, or the yoga mala that I put up on here. You don't have to do all 108 sun salutations in it, but you can do sections of that. So find some of the more active practices, and that might be a better fit for you. This is going to be a little bit of both, a little balance of each, and I hope you enjoy it. So let's get started. So to begin, you might find it handy to have some props around to help with particularly the restorative parts of this practice. I like to use a yoga block, a yoga bolster, and a yoga blanket. You can see I'm sitting on it. Or if you don't have these fancy yoga equipment, that's okay. You can make all this work with just a bunch of blankets. So 5 to 6 folded blankets, and you want to fold them up into this bolster shape. So you fold them and stack them so that they can create your homemade yoga bolster, and you won't need a block if you've got those 5 to 6 blankets. Yeah, so you can hit the pause button and go get those things and come back and join me here. And then when you're ready to start, let's come on to hands and knees. So we're going to come forward onto hands and knees. You can move any props aside. We'll find them later. And from hands and knees, let's start out in child's pose. So you're going to bring your toes to touch, sit back through the hips, and let your body melt down. Now for you, child's pose might be more comfortable by stacking the hands or stacking the fists, resting the head down. It might be more comfortable with some support under your hips, a blanket or two folded under the hips and between the hips and the heels. Maybe you want to have your arms back at your sides. You can just kind of choose how you want your body to be. Just find the most comfortable version of child's pose that you can create. From here, go ahead, close your eyes and think about slowing your breathing down. One of the most powerful ways we can access the vagus nerve and that parasympathetic nervous system is through the breath, particularly through our exhales. So as you breathe, feeling your body just gently expand on the inhale and then slow down your exhalation. Let the exhale take a little more time. Also noticing here in child's pose where the breath is living in the body, and trying to bring the breath more into the lower back and the belly, trying to get the breath low. So that as we inhale, we're going to feel that expansion through the belly and the lower back, the lower ribs. And on a slow exhalation, let everything release. And then gently make your way up to hands and knees. And just as a caveat too, that this yoga practice for our immune system is, of course, not a substitute for medical care. It is a nice way to sort of augment and boost our natural ability to fight infection, but let's not pretend that it's going to cure cancer. So be sure to get seen by a doctor if you need one. That's my caveat. Okay, now let's take some cat and cows. So go ahead, exhale, round through the back, let your head drop down, feel your body just gently press away from the earth, and then inhale for cow pose. Now normally I teach cow just looking a few inches ahead of the fingertips, but if it feels comfortable on your neck to give just a little bit more lift, to look forward a little further than you normally would, to get just that gentle opening through the throat, you can play with that. So exhale, round through the back, drop the head down. Inhale for cow, feel the opening through the front body, and maybe this little opening through the throat, but not at the expense of stressing out our necks. So let your breath lead, let your body follow. Find your own rhythm. Inhaling for cow. And then go ahead, tuck your toes under, slide the hands slightly forward of your shoulders, and exhale as you lift up into downward facing dog. That's where my necklace starts to come into my mouth. Anyway, from here in down dog, go ahead and maybe like walk the feet in place or wag your tail side to side. Just kind of ease into down dog, like you're putting on a really comfortable pair of yoga pants. Just kind of wiggling on into the pose. Let your head rest down. The knees can be bent any amount to keep the stress out of your shoulders. Once again, come back to the breath. From here, you can either just let your head hang, or again, to maybe just bring a little more awareness to the throat, tuck your chin, and let your gaze work towards your belly button. You may or may not be able to see it. I can't see mine. Doesn't matter. It's just that little, just gentle drawing of the chin in to just create a little bit more awareness of the throat. And then inhale, come forward for plank. Shoulders over the wrists, the body is long. If you need support, always a knee to the ground, works great. Create length in the body. And then exhale, knees, chest, and chin gently lower to the earth. From here, take the hands right under the shoulders. Create a little V shape of your shoulder blades. The bottom tips of your shoulder blades pull towards each other. Feel that opening at the heart. Rather than pushing to lift in cobra, think pull with the hands. Soften through the throat. Feel your toes reach away from your heart. And feel free to stay here in cobra, or if you want, see what it feels like to take the hands forward and give a little extra lift for seal pose. If this is too much for your lower back, just rewind back to cobra. From there, lower back down, take the hands back under the shoulders. Inhale, lift from the hips. And exhale, child's pose. From here, reach forward, tuck the toes, lift through the hips. We'll come back into downward facing dog. Feel your hips pull the weight off your hands. Again, sink through, or ground through the palms of the hands, but pull the weight off them so that we're not stressing out the shoulders. You can let the head relax, or you can take that little drishti, that gazing point to the belly button. Just gently bringing that awareness to your throat. And then exhale, lower down to your knees. And from here, let's take puppy pose. So you're going to stack your hips right over your knees, walk your hands forward, and sink your heart towards the earth. You might want to practice this with straight arms, or if that doesn't feel good on your shoulders or neck, fold your hands and let your head rest on your hands. Either way, you're just going to let your heart sink towards the earth. Feel the opening through the ribs, through the belly, through the lungs. Slow breathing. From there, settle the arms down to the earth and come forward into Sphinx Pose. If Sphinx is too much on the lower back, just do Cobra again. Either way, or if we're doing Sphinx, you're going to bring forearms parallel to each other and lift from the chest from here. Soften the jaw, soften the throat. Feel this really nice opening happening at the front of the belly, between the ribs and your pubic bone. Opening into the belly. From here, find some strength in the belly to help lift from the hips, rise it back to hands and knees. And then exhale, Child's Pose once again. Breathing into your lower back. If the lower back feels tight after back bends, it's a great time to just sort of massage the back with your breath. The breath can be silent, or if you want to take that slow Ujjayi breath, create just that little bit of sound to the inhales and the exhales. Very gentle, not a tight constriction in the throat, just this little heat building in the throat, just a little activity to slow the breath down to create a very soft sound. And then from here, reaching forward, tuck the toes and take it up into downward facing dog. And this time from down dog, you're going to just gently walk your feet forward to come into a little ragdoll forward fold at the top of your mat. Coming forward, keep your knees bent and let your body hang. You can either just let your arms be loosey-goosey, or you can hold opposite elbow. You can just hold here, or you can sway side to side. Just let your body loosen. If you're holding the elbows, maybe switch the grip. Stay with the breath. You're going to release the arms. Sit back through the hips, bend through the knees, push and roll on up, adding an inhale at the top as you circle through the arms, and exhale, hands back to the heart. From here, go ahead and step your feet to touch. Take a moment to close the eyes and steady your balance, feeling your weight just naturally shift left and right, forward and back, as you search for equilibrium in the feet. Maybe imagining those four corners of your feet, if you had roller skates, where the wheels would be, grounding evenly on all four corners. And from here, opening the eyes, and here's where our more active practice is going to come in. So moving at your own pace. Inhale, circle the arms on up, and exhale, forward fold. Bend the knees as much as you need to protect your back. Inhale, little half lift, gaze forward. Exhale, step it back, downward facing dog. Inhale, your right heel will lift towards the sky for half down dog. Keep your toes pointing down. Exhale, step forward, and we'll rise up for Warrior One, Virabhadrasana 1. Ground through the back foot, bend through the front knee until you can just see the big toe to the inside of the knee. From here, exhale, take the hands to the heart. We're going to interlace our fingers. I call these Charlie's Angels hands, and then we're going to release the pointer fingers. Cross at the thumbs, and then inhale, reach on up. From there, you can gaze forward, or if it feels good, to just take a little lift of the gaze, a little opening through the throat. Feel 3. Reaching on up, but rooting through the feet. And exhale, take the hands back down to the earth, step it back to downward facing dog. You can hang out here, or you can find a little flow. Inhale, come forward for plank. You can stay with knees, chest, and chin in cobra, or if chaturanga and up dog are part of your practice, feel free to play with them. Exhaling back to downward facing dog. If you get a little lost in these transitions, I do have a vinyasa breakdown video that helps kind of train you through those, so that's a great one to practice before this one if you want. Inhale, left heel lifts to the sky, half down dog. Exhale, step forward. Ground and root through the back foot. Inhale, warrior one. Root through your four corners. Make sure you can see your big toe to that front foot. Exhale, hands to the heart. Interlace, maybe switch the grip of the hand this time. Release the pointer fingers. Inhale, stretch and reach on up. Maybe a little lift through the throat if that feels good. Slow the breath down. And exhale, downward facing dog. Step it back. You can hang out in down dog or child's pose, or you can move through a vinyasa of your choice. Mindful movement. Inhale, plank. Exhale to lower. Inhale, little lift. Exhale, downward facing dog. Another round from here. Inhale, right heel lifts to the sky, half down dog. Exhale, step forward. Rise up for warrior one. And this time, exhale, interlace the hands behind the back, open across the chest. Feel free to stay here, or if it's comfortable, to come into a humble warrior. Let your body come forward. Maybe step that right foot out a footprint to clear some space so that you can drop your head down. Hands can stay against the lower back, or they can release. Exhale, take the hands to the earth and step it back, downward facing dog. You can hang out there, or you can take the little mindful movement. Inhale, plank. Exhale, lower. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Let the breath take you from one pose to the next. Inhale, left heel to the sky. Exhale, step forward. Virabhadrasana 1. Inhale, root through the feet, rise on up. Exhale, interlace behind the back, open through the chest. Breathing here. Feel free to stay, or exhale, humble warrior. Any variation, you might want to step that left foot out again to clear some space. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, plank. Exhale, lower. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. This time from down dog, inhale, right leg to the sky. Down dog splits, let the hip open. You can keep the leg straight, or you can bend the knee. Just feel that freedom in the hip. And then exhale, step forward, and we'll come on up for warrior two. So now the feet are going to line up heel to arch. You're still going to bend through the front knee until you can see the big toe. Ground and root through the four corners of your feet. Inhale, reverse warrior. Right palm flips and reaches as you lift up and over. Breathe and open in through the right waist, the right ribs. And exhale, downward facing dog. You can stay or you can flow. Should I stay or should I flow? Inhale, coming forward. Exhale, lower. Inhale, up dog. Open the front body. Exhale, down dog. Other side, inhale, left leg lifts. Open the hip. Maybe bend the knee if that feels good. Exhale, step forward, warrior two. Inhale, rise it up. Let the shoulder blades melt down the back. Left palm flips, reach and open. Inhale, reverse warrior. Slow the breath down. In some ways, all of these asana, all of these yoga poses are just a means for finding that deeper breath in the body. And exhale, downward facing dog. And you can hang out there or you can move. Inhale, plank. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, downward facing dog. Last little standing sequence. Inhale, right leg lifts and opens. Exhale to step. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, soften. Inhale, reverse warrior, open through the ribs. And then from here, we're going to come to a wide leg forward fold. Bring the hands to the hips, turn the feet in. I'm going to face the other direction so you can still see me. Turning the toes in, heels out. Inhale, lift through the heart. Exhale, fold it forward. Take the hands right under your shoulders. From here, let's twist to the right. Left hand comes right under your gaze. Right hand either to the hip or to the sky. You can feel this twist and just feel that awesome opening through the rib cage. You can hang out there, or if it feels natural for that bottom hand to just find the right leg and twist from there, you can play with that variation too. Exhale, release the hands down for the other side. Right hand grounds, left arm comes to the hip or to the sky. I say grounding through that right hand, but it should be light, not a lot of weight on it. It can hang out there, or you can reach for the leg. Exhale, take both hands back down under the shoulders. From here, we're going to take a wide leg down dog. So reach your hands forward, pull back through the hips, and let your head soften. Slow your breath. The knees can be bent any amount to get the weight off the arms, like we're pulling back through the hips. Inhale, take a little half lift. Hands come under the shoulders. Exhale, hands to the hips with a flat back. Inhale, rise it back up. You're going to pivot that right foot, that front foot back again, and then step it back, downward facing dog. Inhale, if you want, find plank. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, down dog. And last side, inhale, left leg lifts, open through the hip. Exhale to step. Inhale, warrior two. Soften. Inhale, reverse warrior. Open. And exhale, hands to the hips. Once again, pigeon toe the feet, slightly toes in, heels out. This time you can either keep the hands on the hips or you can pull them back. Elbows reach towards each other, or a third option would be to interlace the hands behind the back. Either way, you're going to open the front body and exhale to fold. The hands can stay against the back, or they can come up and over. Legs can be straight, or they can be bent. Slow the breath down. Scooping from the heart. Inhale, reach it forward and come on back up. Inhaling. And then pivot that front foot. Exhale, release the hands. Take it back to downward facing dog. You can hang out here if you want one last little vinyasa. Moving with the breath. Find your way through. As we come back to downward facing dog. From there, go ahead, bend the knees and step the feet up to the hands. Inhale for a little half lift at the top of the mat. Let's have feet hip distance apart. Exhale, folding from here. And as you roll back down, once again, let your knees bend enough so that you can slide your hands under your feet. Backs of the hands towards the earth, palms towards the soles of your feet. And from there, let your head hang. You can keep this little bend in your knees, or if you've got the hamstring flexibility to straighten a little more, you can play with that. If you want the stretch a little deeper in the wrists, maybe straighten the elbows. See what that feels like. Just playing around with what, again, feels most restful for your body. What creates the most relaxation. From there, gently release the hands and step it back to downward facing dog. And from down dog, back to child's pose. Slow the breath down. Let your body really surrender into the earth. From there, reach forward, tuck the toes, exhale back up into downward facing dog. We're going to do one more little heart opening sequence before we move to forward fold city. Inhale, come forward for plank. On an exhale, gently lower all the way down onto the belly. And from here, let's start with a variation on Bosna, Locust Pose. You can have your hands at your sides, or if you prefer, interlace your hands behind your back. Either way, you're going to kind of zip up the body, bringing the legs towards each other. They don't have to touch, but just feel that sort of drawing in towards midline, towards your center. And then inhale, just a little lift, but mostly what we're thinking about is lengthening the body, creating space. Relax the jaw, the throat. And the hands can be interlaced or they can just be at your sides. But feel that opening across the front of the body. On an exhale, gently release down. You can either just turn your head with your arms at your sides, or I often like to take one hand sort of under that little ridge between the eye and the cheekbone. And then releasing, looking forward again. From here, you can stay with either of those variations on Salanbasana, or if your body is in the mood for Asana Bow Pose, you can reach for your feet. Again, zip up towards midline. Feel the thighs draw towards each other. Feel your body kind of pull in towards its center. And then inhale to lift. Soften through the throat. Keep the breathing slow and steady. And exhale, gently release down, and go ahead, turn your head the opposite direction. And again, if you want to do that little support for the neck, you can bring your hand under the little ridge by your eye. From there, take the hands under the shoulders. Inhale, rise it on up, and exhale, child's pose. And just like before, if the back is a little stiff after back bending in child's pose, that's okay. Just use your breath to kind of massage that stiffness out. The tail end part of our back bending sequence, the little queen of back bends today, we're going to take is Camel Pose. So you can rise up to hands and knees, and then from there, rise all the way up to kind of this tall kneeling position, standing on your knees. From here, feel your hips ground towards the earth, like you're kind of just rooting through the pelvis. Lift through the heart. You can hang out right here, just with the hands on the hips, or maybe the hands want to come to the lower back. Breathing, feel that deep opening through the front of the body. If you feel like your body would be happy, reaching for your heels and lifting from there. If you want, you can drop the head back as long as the neck doesn't mind. Thinking about that opening across the whole front track for that vagus nerve. Inhale, rise it back up. And exhale, child's pose. After we open through the front body, then we give this time to soften, to integrate. And from here, we're now going to move into Pigeon Pose. So if you want to come back into a downward facing dog for a traditional pigeon, if you know that you prefer to take a figure 4 pose instead of pigeon, you can move right into that. I'll show it in a minute. But let's start with a traditional pigeon and see how that goes first. So you're going to inhale, reach through your right leg, lift it on up, find that opening in the hips, and then exhale, swing your shin forward to come onto the earth. The most important thing in pigeon is that we don't hurt ourselves. So the knee is very vulnerable. The lower back is a little vulnerable too. So those are the two areas that we just make sure that they're happy. Sometimes they're happier if we give them some support. So one of those blankets that you've got, you can kind of tuck it underneath that right hip if that feels like it's going to give it some more support. You might want to draw your toes back of that front leg too to help support the knee. Might feel good to stay up on your hands. Maybe it feels good to come down to the elbows or all the way down. What you want to feel is this deep stretch, this deep opening into that right hip, but without strain in the knee or the lower back. If the knee or the lower back are unhappy, you can take a figure 4, where you come onto your back, cross the ankle over the knee, and hug that left knee in towards you. It's the same pose, just less compression. Wherever you're at though, what you want to do is bring your awareness into the sensation of the pose. So where you feel things happening, stay present with those sensations and think about slowing your breathing down. Particularly your exhalations, lingering on them. Letting the breath be low in the body. Pigeon pose often has an emotional component to it too. So just noticing it if anything's coming up for you. And as you're ready, you can slowly walk your hands back up. If you're on your back, you can just switch to the other side. If you're in a traditional pigeon, exhale, take it back to downward facing dog. Take a moment to just sort of feel how things are in your body before we take the other side. So you can inhale, left leg lifts, open through the hip, and then exhale, swing the shin forward. Place it on the ground. Now this is a notoriously asymmetrical pose, so it's not going to feel the same on this side. Maybe the right side felt great on your knee and back, but maybe this side you want to flip it onto your back, or vice versa. It's fine either way. If you want the support, you take the blanket and tuck it underneath that left hip so that you're kind of resting onto the blanket. And then you can lower down any amount. Again, you can kind of come to the elbows, maybe take your hands up to your head from here. Stack your fists, your hands, whatever your body wants. Think about softening and sinking through the pelvis. Maybe that right hip rolls a little more towards the earth. Breathing into the sensation in the left hip. Slowing your breath down. As you're ready, inhale, make your way back up. Plant the hands, tuck the back toes, and exhale, take it back to downward facing dog, and back to our good old friend Child's Pose. From Child's Pose, go ahead and come on up to seated. So as you come to sit, Maybe for your back, you want some support. So we've got our blankets. Feel free to prop up onto one. You know that you'll want the blanket if, as you sit with your legs extended forward, if your back is rounded. If you can't sit in that sort of L shape without a blanket, go ahead and add one in. From here, we're going to draw the right leg back. I have to think for a second. The right leg back so that the inside of the right foot comes, or the sole of the right foot comes to the inside of the left leg. We're going to lift tall, and we're going to take this into a little bit of a twist. So you're going to inhale, lift through that left arm, create space and opening in the left side, and then exhale as you gently twist to the right, any amount. If the back feels tight to twist, don't force it. Just think lift up. Maybe you don't even have your hand on the outside of the leg. Maybe you just have it between them. That's great too. Soften through the jaw. Twisting is a great way to kind of stimulate that vagus activity in the belly. Just feel the twist happening through the rib cage, through the belly, in a really gentle way, like a massage. From here, we're going to keep the twist going as we exhale. Just bring the left hand now to the inside of the left knee and let the right arm come up and over. Like you're going to reach your heart up and over. Maybe that hand starts to slide further down the leg. Maybe you hang out here, just turning your heart towards the sky. Maybe you've got the flexibility to bring the shoulder to the inside and bring the hand to the outer foot. That's fine too. Whatever trajectory you're on, wherever you are, just think about this as a little bit of a twist and a little bit of a heart opener. Like you could turn your heart towards the sky. Keeping things long, not forcing them to get there. Inhale, come up about halfway, and then exhale, turn your body like you're going to give a hug to your leg and fold forward over that left leg. If the body starts really collapsing and rounding in the fold, you've gone too far. You want to keep a nice long open front so that we're still keeping that vagus nerve open in the forward fold. Slow the breath down, slow your exhales. Inhale to rise it up. And we'll do same thing on the other side. So switch the legs. So now it's the left foot that's going to come to the inside. Lifting tall. Inhale, reach up through the right arm. Exhale, create the twist over to the left. Shoulders are soft. Feel the twist coming from the strength of the belly, the mobility in the rib cage. Slow the breath down. Unwind the twist about halfway. Bring the right inner or back of the hand to the inner knee. Inhale, left arm lifts up and over. And again, think of this as a little bit of a fold, a little bit of a twist, and a little bit of a back bend all together. You can keep it with the arm on the inside, or if you've got the flexibility to make it shoulder. Wherever you're at, just create space, remembering that the immune system is going to respond most when we're most relaxed, when things are calm. Inhale, come halfway up, turn your body, and exhale, pour it over that left leg, or right leg, any amount. Again, not letting your front body collapse. Keep that vagal system open through the front. Slow the breath down. If you've got the flexibility to rest your chest on your thigh, maybe you want to bring your head down too. Inhale, rise it up. And exhale now, bring both feet in. And we'll come into Bandha Konasana, bound angle. You can stay up on your blanket if that helps your back. You're going to bring your feet, soles of the feet together. Hands coming either at your ankles and lifting from here, or you can interlace around your toes. Either way, you're going to lift up nice and tall, and again, not collapsing through the vagal system in the front body. Lifting, staying open through the vagal system as you come forward. Maybe think of all those heart openers that we did, maybe thinking just that little hint of cobra, like creating that little V shape with your shoulder blades behind the back. Feel that opening across the heart. Slow the breath down. Inhale, rise it on up. And then from here, we're going to come back onto our backs, or onto our backs, back to our back. Coming on down, you can hug your knees to the chest and just gently rock side to side. Massage your back into the floor. From here, let's take it into just a really soft, relaxed twist. So taking the feet down to the earth, go ahead and lift your hips up and scoot them over to the right, just one little step. From there, let your knees rock to the left and let your arms open out from your shoulders. If comfortable, palms of the hands facing up is a nice way to get more of that heart opening, that opening across the chest. And you can decide how you want your legs to be. You can have your knees separated, which brings a little more of the twist into your hips and a little less into the lower back. Or you can stack the knees and see what feels right for you. Go ahead, close your eyes here in this twist and really let your body soften and melt into the floor. Slow the breath down. Got that nice ambulance or police siren coming down the street. Particularly slowing down your exhalations. And inhale, bring the legs back up. Scoot your hips back to midline. And then scoot them over to the left for the other side. Let the knees roll to the right. Again, they can be apart or stacked. Make sure that the shoulders stay on the ground though, that you don't have that left shoulder cranking away from the floor. Let it soften. You can turn your head right, left, anywhere in between. Close your eyes, melt into the twist. Really dropping the breath low in the body. See if you can really feel as you inhale that expansion through the belly, through the lower back. As you exhale, let it release. Inhaling, coming back up. Realign the hips. And then from here, we're going to set up for Shavasana, for our final relaxation pose. And if you're like, you made me grab all these blankets, why? We've barely used them. Now's the time. We're going to take a restorative for Shavasana. So lots of different options. One option would be to take all those blankets you've got and just stack them under your lower legs so that your legs are a little elevated over your heart. You can also do that by just taking a chair under your legs, taking legs up the chair, or if you have a spot of wall near you, you can take legs up the wall. It's a great way, these poses are a great way to really kind of calm and slow down our nervous system. So these are great options. Another option would be to take that stack of blankets or the bolster and the block if you've got them and create a little restorative from here, creating that little incline plane. So stack the blankets up at an incline. If you've got one extra blanket, that can be a nice thing to go around the legs. That final one, you're going to unfold it so that it becomes long, roll it into a tube like this, finding Bandha Konasana, bound angle, soles of the feet together. This blanket is going to rest on top of your feet, and then you slide it under so that it wraps around your ankles. It's weird, but by wrapping it around the ankles, it supports your hips. You scoot until you've got your sacrum right up against the stacked blankets or the bolster, and then you rest on down for heaven on earth. This is one of just the most delicious restorative poses that yoga has to offer, in my opinion. And it's a great one for that vagal tract because we're in this really relaxed, really supported position, but we're open across the front of the body. Whatever position you're in though, go ahead, close your eyes, let your body soften and sink into whatever support it has, whether it's coming from props, from the floor, from the wall, from the chair. Feeling your breath slowing down. Feel the breath moving low into the body as if you could breathe all the way down to your pelvis. Letting go of the ujjayi breath or any kind of control over the breath in the throat. Let the throat be soft. Let the breath be silent. Maybe lingering on your exhales. Our exhalation is neurologically linked to that vagal nerve, as is this belly breathing. If tension starts creeping into the body anywhere, use those slow exhalations as an opportunity to just melt, to soften a little more. You can always pause the video here or just stop it altogether if you want to stay in Shavasana for longer. This is probably the most important part of this class, is this time here, just spent in quiet, calm relaxation. Slow, deep breathing. When you're ready, maybe starting to wiggle fingers and toes. If you're in this bound angle, you can bring your knees together and just gently kick the blanket aside. Wherever position you're in, just move slow. If you did a legs up the wall or legs up the chair, this is especially important that you spend some time rolling on one side. So go ahead and just gently roll to one side, resting there. Honoring the transition out of Shavasana. When you're ready to come on back up, we've got one more practice for the vagus nerve, and it's a really fun one. We're going to do some chanting. So coming on up to seated, because that vagus nerve goes right down through our throat, any kind of humming or singing or relaxed speaking is going to be stimulating for that nerve. So we're going to chant some ohms. So let's chant 5 ohms together. So find a supported position, maybe prop back up on some blankets to come to seated. You can close your eyes if that helps, and you can just listen to the ohms, or if you want to join in the making of the sound, it's that humming of the ohm that really creates that therapeutic effect for our vagus nerve. Sitting nice and tall, breathing in through the nose. With the eyes still closed, soften into a soft smile. Inhale, hands float overhead, palms touch together above you. Exhale, bring your thumbs to your forehead for peaceful thoughts, to the mouth for peaceful words, to the heart for peaceful action. Om Shanti, Namaste. Thank you all so much for doing this video with me. This one has been really fun to research and to make. I hope it helps you stay healthy and helps you stay relaxed and helps you find some moments of calm. Some other things that will definitely support your immune system. You can do lots of research on your own, but meditation, nutrition, and sleep are also really, really powerful research-driven modalities that will help support your immune system. So I recommend that you eat well, that you sleep a lot, and that maybe you take some time for meditation or mindfulness throughout your day as well. But even if you just did the yoga, hopefully we helped you in some way. So thank you. Have a great rest of your day, night, whatever you got. Namaste.